Uh, Namaskar, friends. Today we are going to make a short video of 10 minutes so that it is very easy to refer on a very interesting topic on Nilagiri Express. So, Nilagiri Express is primarily one of the premier trains running in the Southern Railway, and it is one of the. If I ask you a very interesting question, where did the first goods train ran in India? You would say in 1830, between in Chennai, then Madras, between Chindadripet and Sirumalai. It was primarily used for a construction project. Then, if I ask you further, when did the first passenger train ran in India? You would say it is in 1853 between Mumbai and Thane. Similarly, if I ask you when did the first train came in southern India, you would say that it is in Chennai, which ran between the Moor Market and or to Arcot, which was in 1856. Then onwards, the Royapuram station became the premier in Chennai, and followed by the Tiruchirappalli railway headquarters. But the third important railway station to be constructed was in 1851 in the month of July 18th. This was a railway station constructed even before a connecting railway line could be brought in, and that was in Potanu. So the entire thing was happening primarily to bring the Britishers who were having their headquarters then at Chennai. Then Chennai was primarily the capital of British East India Company, and later they moved to Calcutta and furthermore to Delhi. So they want to come for a summer retreat because the Chennai weather was either hotter, or the hottest. So they want to avoid the heat, and they wanted to come to uh, a cold place. So in 1820, the hill station of Neelagiris, then called as Udagamandalam or Uttakamand, was formed, and they want to start a connecting train to this. The plan went on in 1850s, but materialized in 1862 on 14th April. The first train ran between the port city of Chaliam, where the West Coast British officers were there constructing various harbors and projects, to the East Coast up to Chennai. This was a single train which passed through the old Coimbatore railway station, now called as Pottano, and from here, officer from both the side could come to the, you can say the uh, base town of Coimbatore, from where they could make the trip to Ooty by road, either by bullock carts and horse coaches. The cars and trucks were yet to come, so that was the means of transport. Then the British decided to construct a branch line between the old Coimbatore railway station up to the base station at base of the hill, that is at Metupalayam, and further on the hill. And that was the first attempt in the southern India. And there were only two hill railways constructed. One was Nilagiri Mountain Railway, and another was Darjeeling Himalayan Railway. So this project took almost 9 years to complete. 11 years to complete. And by the time from 1862 to 1864, the train was running between Calicut place, that is called Chaliam, to Madras. And this particular train was called as 01, number one. Uh, it was called as the number one uh, mail, and there was no specific name kept. But in 1864, they decided to bifurcate the train into two: the one train which will run between Calicut and Chennai, and another train via Portano, which is primarily utilized by British officers then in Malabar, now in Kerala, to travel towards the hill station as a summer retreat and holiday retreat. And the other part of officers, already the summer capital of the Madras presidency was announced at to Uti. So from April 15th, sorry, from Jan 15th to almost till July 15th or July end, till the rain started or the weather improves. the capital city of Madras Presidency, which was one of the five presidencies of British, was at Ooty, is a hill station. So the 1862 train was bifurcated in 1864, specifically for those who are moving in the towards the headquarter to Ooty from Madras. And the other train, mail, was still continuing to run. So the two trains were bifurcated, and in 1864 onwards, a named express train was started. So before this naming, it was still running from 62 onwards, but in 64, on February 3rd, the Nilagiri train started to run in the name of Blue Mountain Express. From that time, the train was running on coal and was reaching Potanur, or then Old Coimbatore. And further, it was extended in 1873 to Coimbatore in the month of February, to Coimbatore town, and further in the month of August all the way to Mettupalayam. From Mettupalayam onwards, they used to take the road, and it took another 22 years, or rather than 27 years, I would say, to reach Kunnur by train. Till that time, this train continued to chug towards Mettupalayam. So this train was running in 62 up to Old Coimbatore, then new Coimbatore from February to August, and from August 31st, 1873, the Blue Mountain Express started to run to today's destination of Mettupalayam, and got further extended to Kunnur and Ooty in 1899 and 1908. Till this, the engines used were primarily the steam engine made of cast iron boilers. But later, there was a huge coal scarcity because of lack of port cities, and the only way the coal could be brought was from Africa to Calicut, and further by railway to Portanur and Mettupalayam. So then they decided that they will use the local resources, that is firewood, to make steam. The negative point about using the firewood was it can run trains on the plains, but it will not be very much suitable to run trains on the hill station. So it was decided the firewood based steam engine would be used up to Mettupalayam till almost 1893, when the famous Karamadai rail accident happened. It was very clear that firewood from local sources was used. By the time the harbor was constructed in Chennai, and further coal movement became easy either from the northern India or from Australia or from South Africa and various other countries. So the bigger size coal engines were started to come, and then they started to ply trains based on a very big cylindrical uh, steam engine which could reach up to Mettupalayam. So then the loop line was constructed in 1873. So the train will directly leave Madras, travel approximately 11 to 12 hours, and reach the morning to Mettupalayam. This train, Blue Mountain Express, was further extended to Kunnur in 1899, and then onwards they started to use two engines. One is the regular coal engine, and the other one was a coal engine which was run on meter gauge. And then further, this process continued almost from 1899 till almost 1979. In 1979, the government decided to replace all the steam engines with diesel, primarily because of scarcity of quality coal, and the second reason is to reduce pollution and use the diesel as a primary energy source. From 1879 onwards, the train started to use three types of engines: the regular diesel engine for broad gauge, the steam engine continued between Mettupalayam and Ooty in meter gauge, primarily because an external combustion engine was lightweighted and easily could travel up the hill with lightweight, whereas the diesel engine was an internal combustion engine, and so it could not take the high gradient. Further from Kunur to Ooty, it was primarily the diesel engine which was of meter gauge origin. This went on for some more time before in 1999, the then railway minister decided, Nitish Kumar decided to make this entire thing into electric. But there was a big challenge then, because already Chennai to Coimbatore was electrified. And there was another problem, that was the Vellore route was taken off, so there was a loco reversal already happening, and Nilagiri Express started to use four different engines. From Chennai to Coimbatore, it was using an electric engine. From Coimbatore to Mettupalayam, it was using a broad gauge diesel engine, and from Mettupalayam to Kunur, it was using meter gauge steam engine, and from Mettupalayam to further, it was using a meter gauge diesel engine. So this went on, but now the electrification, the feasibility studies were conducted, and primarily the meter gauge electric engines and meter gauge ME, were primarily, or the suburban trains were primarily used only in Madras. So there were a lot of these engines available because Chennai, Madras was already moving towards broad gauge trains. So it could have been a golden opportunity to introduce pollution free electric engine or traction like Switzerland all the way up to Ooty. But then there was a big challenge, that was through the elephants and the elephant corridor. Then they decided that to make a study between Kunur and Ooty only to electric traction, and remaining would remain as steam engines, as diesel engines were not working between Mettupalayam and Kunur. So this went on for some time, but before they could submit the report and everything, already the UNESCO has recognized this as a heritage uh, railway system. So without further clarification from the UNESCO, we could not make changes in the Nilgiri Mountain Railway. So the plan to make electrification or introduce meter gauge electric engines between Kunur and Ooty was dropped, and the system continued. But the meantime, in 2011, there was a big coal scarcity that was hitting, and quality coal was not coming, so steam thrust was not developing. So they decided to use furnace oil, and the furnace oil was continuously used from that time till 2022, when the system again changed. So it was a furnace oil, uh, a diesel engine, sorry, a furnace oil steam engine, and this was the sixth engine. One engine missed the bus, that was a meter gauge electric engine. So the furnace oil went on, and now the engineers named Manikam and Subramaniam, they primarily designed their own indigenous method, and they replaced furnace oil with high-speed diesel. So it is an external combustion engine with diesel, which will make the steam, and steam will develop the thrust, and all the way from Mettupalayam to Kunur, the train would be run by diesel external combustion, and from Kunur to Ooty, it will be still continuing to run in the regular diesel engine. So these are the different types of. I almost told you nine type of engine, out of which eight were used. One was electric meter gauge, which was not used because it missed the bus. And the final time, now it has come that by next year, 2023, the Honorable Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has already announced that there will be hydrogen engines, and so Ooty should definitely get this, and this would make it is already made, and it will further make Ooty as a unique railway station or railway system, all the way using 10 different engines. And Nilagiri Mountain Railway, along with the Blue Mountain, is considered to be one of the oldest express railway system in the entire country. With which I just conclude today's short video. I thank all of you who had a patient hearing.